What up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the WiseTake NBA Wise stream. CK013 here. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013, of course, and from the WiseTake Nation, which you can find right here on YouTube, on Twitch, whatever platform you're watching, Periscope, on Twitter at Wise_Take, on Instagram at WiseTake, on Facebook at WiseTake. We're everywhere. No reason for you to miss out on any of the fire content we put out. With that said, as much free content as we do, you can join us at wisetake.com if you are looking to better yourself, to better your game, so to speak. We've got a wild slate today, right? Pretty wild. We've got 12 games? It's massive. We have a lot of injury news, a lot to discuss on that aspect. Some we already have, a lot we haven't. Right now, just kind of a general overview. FanDuel, everybody's underpriced. Looks like everybody. I've never seen so many guys project for 6x on the site. Just looking at like the overall aspect of the FanDuel projections, we've got like the first 17 players we have projected at like 6x over there. It's a strange slate. So that one's already kind of a mess because you've got things, just a matter of which guys, and of course on FanDuel you don't have late swaps, so you got to make your decisions before other people, before DraftKings really. On DraftKings right now it's looking balanced because there are underpriced players across the board. They're not as underpriced maybe, or maybe there's not as many, but we do have injury news that can really turn this into a slate similar to FanDuel, where you can kind of get whatever you want. So it's interesting. We've got the projections pulled up as usual. This is a tool that I made specifically for this show. So this is not what you see if you want the projections. But these are the actual WiseTake Nation projections. Again, they don't look like this. You could download them with a WiseTake Nation subscription. We have day passes available. You could download them, upload them into the optimizer of your choice. Aside from that, we're using it as a visual. We're going to go through game by game, see where we have to make adjustments. Maybe we'll make some adjustments now. If not, we'll make the adjustments as we get the news or we're in the transition. First hour or so of the show, we're going game by game, and I'm not going to waste too much more time because we have a lot of games to get through. And then we'll bring on Paulie D. We'll go over cash game optimal builds. And if we have time, take some questions and whatnot and do the dirty because that's what we're here for. We're here to do the dirty. So without further ado, nation, let's go ahead and jump in this because, like I said, there's a lot to get through. First up, we're going to start with Philly, Toronto. We've got a 215.5 total down from 218.5. Philly, 6.5 point road underdogs. This is a playoff atmosphere type game. Toronto is getting healthier. We know Van Fleet is back. He's been somewhat limited, but he's back. Siakam's been back. He's also been somewhat limited, but still playing significant minutes. We know Joel Embiid is out for Philly, but we've seen Tobias Harris. We've seen Ben Simmons, who's coming off of a monster outing, and Al Horford, Richardson, all these guys kind of step up and contribute. So I would imagine it still has that playoff type atmosphere. The Sixers obviously do miss Embiid's presence. He's just very good. Simple as that. Starting with the Sixers side, Tobias Harris on FanDuel looking strong again at 6,400. For some reason, they refuse to raise his price. But they've got Donovan Mitchell at like 6,200 today against Golden State. So I guess, that's just designed that way. On DraftKings, a little harder to reach him, especially on a slate like today. Makes for a decent tournament play. Should be low owned, but we know Toronto a little better of a defensive team when healthy. Not a ton that stands out. Ben Simmons on FanDuel is within reach, and again, they're just soft across the board, and his skill set projects better over there because of the steals and everything like that. On DraftKings, if we get the value to help jam him in, maybe we get a little bit more of him, but as of now, I don't envision myself getting a ton. The Sixers side, I think the pricing is caught up a little bit to these guys. Horford's not terribly priced, but I do think that it's, considering the matchup against Toronto, we have a lowish total. This could be one of those situations. Sometimes we get these low total games where people stay away from it because of the total, and they end up being really tight and really competitive and really close. Maybe overtime. You don't want to predict that. You can't predict that. But yeah, I think that in tournaments I don't mind it. But again, with a slate this big with so many good games, I'm not really gravitating towards any of the guys on this team too much. On the Toronto side, Siakam's price is pretty low on DraftKings. You can see on FanDuel there really wasn't a lot that standed out. This was like the one team that FanDuel seemed to have priced somewhat appropriately, at least for their site. Relative to the slate, there's still guys that are cheap, but when you compare them to the underpricing elsewhere, it's not as attractive. On DraftKings, some of these guys who stand out a little bit. Serge Ibaka's only 5K. I know he hasn't been playing a ton, but he's only 5K at this point. We'll talk about Zion Williamson, who's power forward and center eligible on DraftKings and is at the same price. So whenever you see a 5K player at forward or center, I think that you want to weigh, like if you're considering playing Zion, these are the guys you're kind of weighing him against. Unless we get some crazy value opening up, which is not only possible, but with all the injury news that we have, like you would think likely. Fred VanVleet on DraftKings and Kyle Lowry are probably both underpriced. Lowry's probably my favorite play from the game. Not that I particularly love him. Again, this position is pretty loaded, and we'll get into that. But at 6'6", I understand the minutes have been down, but 2 of those games he was in foul trouble, and a couple of them were blowouts also. I fully expect Lowry to get monster minutes as he's always gotten. I know VanVleet is back, but he was playing monster minutes even with those guys from the beginning. So I do like Kyle Lowry again. We've got him projected for 33 minutes, which is kind of conservative. We could probably raise that to 34, but I didn't want to push it. Lowry is a guy I don't mind getting exposure to on DraftKings. On FanDuel, like I said, is not a ton from this game. I like Siakam would be somebody I would strongly consider. And I think Siakam on DraftKings, I mean, he's obviously underpriced. If he was going to get the full 34, 35 minutes he was getting before the injury, you would, want to load up. So at some point, he's going to get those. We don't know when. Might not get a heads up, but at some point, he's going to go back to seeing those kind of minutes. So the price is low. I am cool with him. Let's go to the next one. We've got the Oklahoma City Thunder visiting the Orlando Magic. Super exciting. We've got news in this one, too. Oh, shit. I don't like that. I got to keep it the same. There we go. Road team first. Here we go. We have a 209 total, down from 210. The Magic are 2-point favorites at home. Steven Adams is questionable. Nerlens Noel is questionable. Obviously, for now, we have them in regarding like minutes and everything like that. Should Adams miss, we will then look at the status of Noel, especially on FanDuel where he's 4K, but also on DraftKings where he's 4-4. Noel in 19 minutes the other day went for 30. The next game he was a late scratch because of his ankle. He missed time because of his ankle. So the fact that it's bothering him again is scary. Whether he plays or not, you can consider. I mean, Adams has to be out, I think. I mean, one of the Adams or him has to be out for this. But I think you can consider Muscala, maybe. Again, if they're both in, you can see. I just don't think there's a ton there for him. But yeah, I think this is obviously going to be important. And also, if Adams is out, we're going to want to raise the projection for Chris Paul, Schroeder, Gallinari, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, give them a little bit of boost. Right now, there's not a ton pushing us from here, but again, when we get the injury information, that could change. Should Adams be out? Should Noel be out? Then we might not have a choice but to look at Muscala, who is very cheap, $4,100 on FanDuel, $3,500 on DraftKings. We'd have to project him for somewhat significant minutes because they got no bigs left. And I'm sure he would project to be one of the better players on the slate. The problem is, even if that happens, we could get something else opening up later that's even better. So it's like the Wild West. It's you never really know. It's just the beauty of a 12-game slate in the NBA this time of year, I guess you could say. On the other side, right? Yeah. Guys, if you don't mind, those of you watching on YouTube, please hit that like button. If you're watching on Twitch, do the dirty. Share the message. You know what it is. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the like button. Until our other channel gets unlocked, which we have one more video that is waiting to be approved that we appealed. If that video gets approved, we might be back on a regular channel. But in the meantime, we're going to have to try to build this one up because we never know. We don't know what's going to happen over there. YouTube's just doing its dirty real bad. With that said, let's go to, what is it, Oklahoma City? No, Orlando. Shit. All right, so with Orlando, we know that Isaac is out, Augustine's out. The usual, nothing new. They've been in this situation. Michael Carter-Williams did return the other day, which I think makes Markelle Fultz's like it makes it hard to project him more for 33, more than like 32 minutes. If Carter Williams was out, we did see the one instance where they were all out, and Fultz did play 33 or 34, whatever it was, and he had a monster game. He ended up getting a cramp at the end of that. But with Michael Carter Williams back, I don't think they're likely to play him more than that. And honestly, like this, I just don't see myself getting a ton. Evan Fournier's price is low on both sites. On FanDuel, it's a very competitive position. We talked about Donovan Mitchell. There's plenty of other guys who are underpriced at that position. And again, more injury news on the way. So on DraftKings, though, Fournier does kind of stand out a little bit more on this team. Aaron Gordon also, from a price perspective, definitely don't mind it. Vooch is okay. Vooch, I'd be a little more interested in if Adams was out. Not that I'm worried about Adams' defense on his type of abilities, but in terms of rebounding, all that kind of stuff, it's going to help. Center is also a position with a lot of decent options. So just something that we have to keep in the back of our mind. But as far as Vooch goes, I think he's okay. I think there's a lot of plays on this slate that I like. And I think that I could like him a little bit more if Adams is ruled out. There we go. So Mike Muscala. This could turn into a Mike Muscala day. Who knows? Next up, we got the Sacramento Kings and the Detroit Pistons. Let's go do dirties there. All right, here we've got a 221.5 total. Detroit 1.5 point favorites at home. So starting with the Kings, we did hear that Marvin Bagley's out. So that's pretty significant. Bagley was playing about 30 minutes a game. With him out, last time Giles started and was playing around 17 minutes or so, 16 to 17 minutes, Dwayne Dedmon did get an opportunity to play. But now they have Tolliver on the bench, and who they just traded for. Tolliver and Bazemore are both available to make their debuts. So it's just a murky situation. I mean, Drummond is questionable. If Drummond is out, maybe they don't need to play a Dedmon if they really don't want to, because there's obviously some bad blood. They're trying to trade Dedmon. If you're trying to trade somebody, you got to showcase them off a little bit. They have an opportunity to do that. Maybe they do, but they really don't seem to like this dude, so they don't have to. I'm still weighing out the options. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. You guys tell me if you think Dedmon's going to play, because I feel like they kind of have to. He's the only like true center. I mean, Tolliver, sure, but if Drummond's in the game, which we don't know, Drummond has like a lip laceration. So, like, again, that could impact this decision. If Drummond is confirmed in, should I project Dedmon for at least 22, which would make him pop a lot more? I mean, he's 3,100 on DraftKings, 37 on FanDuel. And again, like, we already know Bagley's out, and they have to fill those minutes. Now, if Drummond's out, they can go a little smaller. We've seen them play Bielitsa at the 5 in short spurts. I think Dedmon would see the court regardless because Bagley's out and Holmes is out, but it may not be significant enough to make enough of an impact. And as of right now, if you're going to play a guy like Dedmon, like 6x from a raw point perspective is not a lot of points. This is a massive slate where there are guys who maybe are 6K or around that range, 7K, and have the upside to go for 50 or 60. So it could come down to a raw points issue. So that's where I'm at with Dedmon. But if Drummond is in, like, the more I think about it, the more I feel like he should play a little more, especially because we saw they don't want to play Giles more than that 16 to 17 minutes. We've seen opportunities where they could have, and they didn't. They elected to give those minutes to Dedmon despite Giles starting. So I want to see the starting lineup just to get an idea of what they're doing. See if we hear any details. I haven't heard much of the conversation. Maybe they do get Bazemore and Bagley and Tolliver some time as the new guys to kind of see what they got, see how they mesh. But I'm not totally sure. And I think if Drummond plays, Dedmon would be the guy they would want matchup wise. So a situation we'll have to come back to. Bielitsa on FanDuel and Buddy Hield on FanDuel just crazy cheap for the amount of minutes they're playing, for the situations they're in. Bielitsa's role even more solidified. We could see him play some center, especially if Detroit is without Drummond and Detroit ends up a little smaller. They could easily slide Bielitsa to the 5. They've done that in short spurts. They haven't done it a ton, but I think they could get Bogdanovich on the court with De'Aaron Fox, Barnes, Buddy Hield. I think that's something they could do. Either way, again, some of these guys have to play, and I think that's where like Bazemore comes into play off the bench. No interest in him. But, yeah, I think the Kings are kind of interesting. It's just a matter of what we do. They're a lot more appealing on FanDuel, all of them. They're all, except for De'Aaron Fox, they're all pretty softly priced. On DraftKings, it's really De'Aaron Fox, and then I have to think about the Dedmon situation. I don't mind Bielitsa. I don't mind Buddy Hield, but they're all like this tournament plays to me. Bogdan, too. On FanDuel, though, some of these guys are flirting with optimal. It's just a matter of, like, they would be. If this was a smaller slate, they'd be the best plays on a slate at those prices. But, again, it's competitive because we have a lot of other underpriced players over there. But, Fox on DraftKings, I don't mind. This dude's upside is he's playing on a different level. Bagley's out off, which is going to raise the usage of everyone else. But we have to decide on what we're going to do with Dedmon. So, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll call Paulie. I'll read some of your guys' thoughts and we'll make a decision from there. Going to Detroit. So Derrick Rose, I just got notification he's going to remain in the starting lineup, despite the fact that Reggie Jackson is expected to make his return. Reggie Jackson is expected to be on a hard minutes limit. He's missed a lot of time. And Bruce Brown just got ruled out. So right now we got Bruce Brown in. I'll make an adjustment at some point to fix that. But in the meantime, Bruce Brown is in. In the meantime, we have Bruce Brown in these projections. Maybe we can raise Derrick Rose another minute or so, which would certainly help. He's like flirting with that cusp of like popping in. If Drummond gets ruled out, that's going to solidify Rose's usage even more. If Drummond is in, this is a good matchup for him, and the price isn't terrible on DraftKings. So he'd be someone we'd have to consider. And again, like I said, it would also make us want to consider Dedmon's situation a little bit more. Sekou Doumbouya is playing big minutes. I don't mind him in this spot against the Kings. I'm not afraid of he's going to be matched up with Bielitsa a lot of the time, I think. If Drummond is out, I'll like him even more. I'll like him more, like significantly more. We'll see how he grades out compared to everybody else by the time we get all the news. But Markieff Morris, he's been playing really well, been really aggressive on the second unit, kind of waiting to see like them play him a little bit more. But he's another possibility. He's another person that could benefit should Drummond get ruled out. And Christian Wood would be the obvious. On DraftKings would become a phenomenal option. Power forward and center eligible. 4,100 or 4K on DraftKings? Obviously, with Drummond in, we can't project him for all that much because it's a guess. But if Drummond gets ruled out, we would anticipate him playing a lot. And we want to get some. Simple as that. Potential. Maybe Thon Maker makes an appearance. Not a guy I'm terribly ever interested in, but I could definitely get down. With Bruce Brown out, we could probably raise the minutes for Svi a little bit. And he's actually been playing well. I don't love the price point he's at. But he has been playing really well already, and I would think that he could pick up a couple extra more with Bruce Brown out. Maybe Galloway picks up some more. Just another guy I don't love to play, but Christian Wood would be the main value play if Drummond were to get ruled out. Something we need to keep an eye on, for sure. Let's see. Next up, we got the Clippers and the Hawks. Should be a good one. Clippers on the road, back to back. We have a 234.5 total, one of the higher ones. The Clippers are 3.5 point favorites on the road. Again, back to back, some travel. Paul George out. Pat Beverly got hurt yesterday. He's out. And Kawhi Leonard's out because it's a back to back. Montrezl Harrell on FanDuel, the price is just too low. We would expect him to play more minutes. I was more aggressive on the minute projections for Harrell and Lou. I know I have them fairly high for the type of minutes they typically play, but with all these injuries, I decided to give them a boost because they're more the active offensive players on the team. So I would anticipate them being relied upon more, considering the best two, Paul George and Kawhi, are both out. Pat Bev is out. That's going to open up minutes for Lou Williams. We know Lou Williams, when he's all alone, is going to be all aggressive. He's another one that on FanDuel at 6,300, that position is just too loaded. There's just too many guys. But we know the usage for Lou Will is great with these guys off the court. Lou Will is just, his usage is monstrous. His fantasy point per, he's well over a fantasy point per minute. We would anticipate him also getting more minutes. Maybe not the 35, 36 a normal starter would, but we can easily see him getting up to 33, 34. Harrell and Lou are the standard two. I think Zubac on DraftKings makes for an interesting value play. I know like people might be hesitant to play them together, but I do think that Zubac is cheap enough to where he could smash in 20 minutes and give you a return. I would probably prefer not to play them together, but in a game stack situation, I think you could, because after Lou Will and Harrell, maybe you go to like a Landry Shamet for value, which a guy that has a really low floor, also has a decent ceiling for the price, but also a really low floor. Who's the next guy? And on a point per minute basis, I think Zubac's got them all beat. Plus a matchup basis, it is the Hawks. So I'm like kind of torn there, but I do like Harrell. I do like Zubac. And I like Lou Will a lot. No secret there. I would anticipate his ownership being somewhat high relative to the slate. But again, how chalky is the chalk really going to be on a 12-game slate? Except for the guys that are like 4K that open up, who we're going to talk about in a second. Jermichael Green is a guy I don't mind. Maybe he picks up some extra minutes. Harkless didn't play much yesterday. He just came back from an injury. Maybe he picks up some more. So there's a lot here. But as far as the guys that are actually going to do anything, it's Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell. I think Shamet will be more aggressive. I like Zubac even in limited minutes as a value option on DraftKings specifically. And Jermichael Green, if I had to pick one of these randos, like I think Jermichael Green would be the guy because at least he's fairly active. So if you thought he was going to get real minutes, I mean, if I thought he was going to get 30 minutes, he'd probably project for, pretty damn well at a 4-4 price tag on both sides. But that's a big if. On the other side, we've got the Atlanta Hawks. So Trae Young is questionable. That's monstrous news. If Trae Young plays, he's one of my favorite studs in the slate at 9,500 with no Pat Beverly. I like Kevin Huerter already at his price. We know DeAndre Bembry is out. Maybe that doesn't have too much of an impact because I think Bembry was kind of like... Let me double check before I open my big fucking mouth. Oh, damn filters. I mean, he played what? On the 20th. So, yeah, he's kind of been in 17, 20 minutes, 19. He's been back in the rotation. So that should help. I think Huerter is more likely to play the 33, maybe even more. And if Trae Young gets ruled out, he becomes just an awesome play. With Bembry out, Cam Reddish's minutes go up. Still not just this is not a high point per minute type player. I do like John Collins a lot. It doesn't seem like the field loves him all that much, but this is a really good spot for bigs. If Alex Len is back, then Collins will play more 4. But either way, I mean, with no Kawhi, with no PG, I'm just not really worried. And he's such a high motor type player. I think he could really feast. If Alex Len is ruled out, I like it even more because I think he'll play more 5, which is really where people thrive. Patrick Beverly now listed doubtful. You ain't playing, bro. You left the game yesterday with a groin injury. You ain't playing. You're just messing around. Please play. Get out of here. He's full of shit. I don't think he's playing, but I will obviously have to keep up with that. AD available to play. Rajon Rondo available to play. All stuff we expected. But keep an eye out for the Pat Beverly news. Again, he's just been upgraded to doubtful. So still don't think he's going to play. DSJ available to play. Well, damn. I didn't think that was a possibility. I guess hopefully we'll get the news on Marcus Morris any minute. We'll see. Anyway, coming back to the Hawks. I like John Collins. If Len is out, I like him even more. I like Trae Young. Alex Len, if Alex Len isn't, he's another value center we can consider. This is a smash spot for centers on both sides. So if Len was to play, there's really not a ton of resistance. DeAndre Hunter's been playing really well lately. You'd really have to project his minutes high to get a lot of them. We got him at 31, which is kind of high, but if Trae Young gets ruled out, everybody's going to get a boost, including Jeff Teague, who in my opinion would become the best play on the slate at 4K on DraftKings, 4,600 on FanDuel. Only with Trae Young in, I think Jeff Teague is still like a tournament viable play. Got to get a little bit of exposure to. He's not playing a whole ton. But yeah, if Trae Young does get ruled out, he's questionable with some kind of leg injury, a quad or a thigh or something. If he's in, I'm with him. If he's out, I'm ready to load up on Jeff Teague. It'll be chalk, but that's an example of how the slate will get pushed more towards the Stars and Scrubs build. But one of the top games on the slate. The Wizards and Miami. Oh, there we go. We've got a 229.5 total, up from 227.5. Miami opened up as 10-point favorites. It's down to 9.5. We're waiting on news here as well. On the Miami side, on the Washington side, we're kind of left to guess with a lot of this shit. Thomas Bryant, I think, played 22 minutes in the last game. Maybe they raise him a little bit. He is still cheap, but the ceiling we know is going to be capped, and they're just not going to play him more than XYZ. Bradley Beal played 30 minutes the last game. That's pretty significant. He projects to be one of our best plays on DraftKings. On FanDuel, there's too many guys like he would be on a regular slate, except there's too many guys that are underpriced. We talked about Lou Will. I told you about Donovan Mitchell, who we'll see later. There's too many guys that Buddy Hield. There's too many guys at a position that are cheap. It is going to lower his ownership, though. But on DraftKings, it's a little more competitive. The pricing's a little more strict. Not even. I'm not even going to say it's like super strict or hard because I think it's somewhat soft there too, but not nearly as soft as FanDuel today. With that said, Bradley Beal, if he does get the 33 minutes at 7-2, we're getting a bargain. We know he's a high usage player. They're starting to get healthy. Miami's not a team I particularly love to attack. Jimmy Butler is questionable. If he's in, I would imagine that Butler's going to cover Beal at least sometimes. Butler, one of the better defenders out there. If Butler's out, though, there's really not a good wing defender that I think can slow him down with Winslow out and all these other guys. So, yeah, I think Bradley Beal's the main one. I'm not really interested in too much else. Isaiah Thomas is down to 3,400, 3,800, depending on the site. He's just been awful. He's just really been bad. McRae, I don't mind as much on Miami, especially in the event, foul trouble, anything, like he could squeeze in there. He went for like 50 against Miami, which makes Bill even interesting, the thought of it, but hard to project him for significant minutes. A guy that I'm not reaching on FanDuel, no way. Like he's like a couple $100 less than Buddy Hield. It's like, but on DraftKings, wouldn't be surprised if he ended up on a couple teams out of the 150 or 170 or whatever I'm building today. But it's mainly Beal. On the Miami side, Duncan Robinson's questionable. These guys went to overtime against the Kings. They're a little banged up. Dragic is probable. We know Butler's questionable. Kind of a lot going on. If Butler is in, we'll start with him. It's a pace-up matchup. As of right now, he's not projecting all that well, but I probably would give him another minute. I don't think it would make a huge difference, but it would help. I think the ownership would be low. It's a pace-up spot. I think I prefer Bam, though, if we're looking at these two studs. Just a phenomenal matchup for Bam. This team is not good against bigs. On FanDuel, kind of hard to reach because he's at a position where there's a lot of underpriced players. On DraftKings, a little bit easier to reach. There are a lot of centers between like the low, mid, and high, but somebody that, from an ownership perspective, could slide under. I don't love the price, but it is a really good matchup. Not really interested in a ton. It's like we need the news. Tyler Hero's back, so Duncan Robinson's minutes, I think, will return back to normal. He was getting like 38, 39 of them shits when Hero was out, but with Hero back, I would expect it to be like 31 to 33, which isn't bad. On FanDuel, he's actually looking like a decent value play. So is Dragic at 4-4. They always underprice him, but if everybody's healthy, if everybody's out, if Butler's out, I don't mind taking more shots on Dragic, at least on FanDuel at the 4-4. But again, there's a lot of people that are underpriced. You might not need it. But yeah, not as excited about this game as I thought I would be. But the Butler status is pretty important. It's going to give a boost to these guys, and we'll update that once we get the news. Steven Adams, a game-time decision. That helps no one. Next up, we got the Lakers and the Knicks. I'm actually going to make notes of the shit we got to change after this. Nerlens Noel available to play. So Adams is a game time decision. Nerlens Noel available to play. All right, let's look at it. Look at it long and hard. All right, so as you can see, from a projection standpoint, there wasn't much with the Lakers. LeBron's price is up there. We know that with AD back, the usage we expect to go down at least a little bit. Oh, interesting. Okay. Dwayne Dedmon will start for injured Marvin Bagley. So I think that's pretty significant, guys. I think that's gonna make me like Dedmon more. Because like I said, if they're doing that, I think they're more likely to play him at least the 22-23. And as you can see, as we thought, we're already starting to get a little bit more stars and scrubsy as it goes on, or at least like have the option to, or at least that build will be a little bit more popular. But that is a really low price. We'll have to make some adjustments after this show, and the transition we'll do it leading in the next one. back to the Lakers again with AD back. He was on like a 28-minute limit before. We got him around 32. It's not doing a ton. He could do dirties at this price at 9.9 in those limited minutes, but from a projection standpoint, he really hasn't. This game has a 223 total. The Knicks are 12-point underdogs. The Lakers coming off of a terrible performance. Boston just destroyed them. Would expect them to be a little motivated. We know LeBron likes to play in the Garden. So again, I'm not saying I don't like LeBron. It's just in terms of the stud, this like we got Trae Young, some of these other guys who ranked high, but LeBron obviously I think is a little bit more stable than some of these other ones. Him, James Harden, even Westbrook, guys that I think are a little bit more stable in terms of floor. So I'm fine with LeBron for the narrative purpose, but just off raw projection as a team, the Lakers just didn't project all that well. And it's LeBron, AD, and that's it. There's not really any ancillary pieces I even want on a 12-game slate. On the Knicks side, we're waiting for Marcus Morris news. He has an ankle injury. If he's in, he looks like a solid play on both sides. Elf Payton also. Now I have his minutes a little higher at 31. I might have to take a minute away because we do have DSJ back. So I still think Elf is the guy they want as long as the game's competitive. But this game may not be competitive. So if that were to be the case, maybe they do play Elf 28 minutes, which could really, really hurt. I think you really need every minute you can get from a guy like Elf, who's not the greatest offensive scorer. A guy that relies a little bit more on peripherals. So Marcus Morris and Elf are the main two. But again, we are waiting for the news. I don't mind Mitch Robb. He's been playing bigger minutes. If the game blows out, he'll get garbage time run and he'd smash. And then Julius Randle, I'm actually okay with. We got that Laker narrative, his old team. But I like him a lot more if Marcus Morris is out. Even though I think the game would be more likely to blow out, I would still like. I would think that when Randle is on the court, he'd be doing a lot of dirties. But I don't want to overreact. I think Elf and Morris are the main two from here. And again, like LeBron is the main one for me. I don't mind if you want to take some shots on AD and the Lakers, but that's pretty much it. Memphis Grizzlies and the Boston Celtics. Another game that should be really solid. Memphis has been a great fantasy team. They're playing fast. They're not playing defense. It's phenomenal. We've got a 232.5 total. Memphis are 7-point underdogs on the road. Brandon Clark, big upside, great matchup. Minutes are unpredictable. Same thing with Joval. Joval was playing like 27 to 29 minutes and smashing, and then all of a sudden that last game, Joval. See what that game was. So Joval played 21 minutes against the Pelicans, a nut matchup. The game was only a 10-point game. He went for 33 in those 21 minutes, 33 DraftKings points. So he really could have smashed. He could do the same here, but again, like New Orleans was able to force these guys smaller, and that is something I'm a little concerned about that Boston could do. They're not big, so if they're down in this game, if these guys get up, we don't know. But it is a good matchup on paper. Same thing for Brandon Clark and Jaren Jackson. The minutes are just kind of hard to project. Dillon Brooks is kind of interesting. The Memphis side is always the side that's like tougher to kind of predict. Our projections are a little more aggressive on Jay Crowder's minutes. There's some revenge narrative. That's not why we did it. I just think that he was a big part of this offense before he got hurt. I know going into that it wasn't so great, but I didn't want to just not have him at all. So on DraftKings, I think he's an interesting value play. But John Morant's price has gotten up. He's going to see some tough matchups. I think Marcus Smart is going to spend some time guarding him potentially, unless Marcus Smart is busy with Brooks. I don't know. Jaylen Brown is out, so they got some holes they have to fill. Jaylen Brown, one of the better defenders. So, and Joval is the main play for me on the Memphis side. With that said, the Boston side I'm very interested in. Boston on FanDuel looking really good head to toe. On DraftKings looking good head to toe. Gordon Hayward, one of the top projected plays on the slate. Price is just too low. Jaylen Brown is out, so we anticipate a little more minutes, a little more usage, all that good stuff. Kemba Walker, this has been a nut matchup for point guards. One of Kemba Walker or Marcus Smart, if not both, but at least one of these guys should smash. Kemba's the one that should get the best opportunity with the usage increase, him mainly playing point guard. So I do like Kemba quite a bit at point guard, a pretty loaded position. Daniel Theus on FanDuel is projecting a lot better than I realized. And I mean, either him or Cantor's got to play the minutes. So I'm fine with it. We got it projected for just under 26 actual minutes. So I'm fine with him over there. But again, that position's loaded. Zion's like 4,500. On DraftKings, not really interested. Tatum on both sites, I'm interested, especially DraftKings. I think that the double-double bonuses, all that, the 3 points bonuses just play better. And on FanDuel, that position is very loaded. So I do like Tatum, Kemba, and Hayward, all three of them. Again, phenomenal matchup. I like them against Memphis. They are kind of in that letdown game spot, right? They just blew the shit out of the Lakers. And now they play Memphis, who's not considered a great team. Like, they're at home, but it definitely lines up for like a letdown. With that said, though, some of these prices are just too soft for the actual matchup. I do like the Celtics quite a bit. I'll have a lot of exposure to the Celtics. Show for show. Denver Nuggets, Houston Rockets. We're doing pretty good on time, I think. Right? Yeah, we're doing all right. We've got a 228.5 total. The Rockets are 9-point home favorites, up from 8.5. The Rockets are home. My bad. Here we go. Waiting on some injury news. Gary Harris was out earlier, and now he's listed as questionable. He was upgraded from doubtful to questionable, something like that. So we'll want to wait on the news. He could really have an impact here. That's an extra body that could float around. He's one of the better defenders, so I think it has. I think it does have some general impact. Monta Morris is a value play on FanDuel that I'm fine with at 4K. On DraftKings, if Harris is in, I'm scared because that could easily, there's room. Any one of those guys can play that position. They can throw Barton at point guard. They can and put Beasley off the ball. They can do a lot of different things. So on FanDuel, I'm fine. On DraftKings, I really would want Harris to be out. If Harris is out, Will Barton, I know the price is up. Not so much on FanDuel. I actually like Barton on FanDuel, but on DraftKings, the price is kind of up. We know I expect him to play some point guard and his usage to be high. If Harris is in, I still think the usage is there, but not as high, and I think the price on DraftKings is kind of too high. But on FanDuel, I don't mind it. Jokic looks like an awesome play at center today, especially, really, whether Harris is in or out. Plumlee is out today. Mason Plumlee is out. In addition to Millsap, they got no bigs. So I think that if there was ever a day where Jokic plays or sees an increase in minutes, it could be today. Now, the Rockets can go small, so they could give Denver an opportunity to also play small. But I still like Jokic. I still think they're going to want... Jokic is one of the best players, especially all his injuries. They're going to need him on the court. So I like Jokic quite a bit as a stud option. And if Gary Harris is out, I think Malik Beasley is an interesting value play. I think that, again, Monta Morris becomes stronger. And I guess we got to talk about Michael Porter Jr., who on FanDuel is still underpriced for the ceiling he's got. Though, Trae Young just got ruled out. Hello, Jeff Teague. Holla. Got a lot of updates to make after this show. Yes, sir. Nation, be ready to go back to these projections and refresh them. I'll keep you guys posted on the next show. I'll let you know when, what I've updated and when. This way you know when to re-download and re-upload them, all that shit. But yeah, Trae Young just got ruled out. Holla. Yeah. Jeff Teague. Chalk City, baby. Let's go. Anyway, so I was talking about Monta Morris, but really, he can go to hell at this point. He would still open up as a low-owned option, I guess, now. But again, the slate is pushing us a little more stars and scrubs. You just kind of keep that in mind. Maybe a little easier to reach Jokic now, which is appealing. But Michael Porter Jr., I'm fine with. I think that if Harris was out, I'd feel a lot more secure. But who's going to play the 4? You got Jeremy Grant at the 4. They need bodies with Plumlee off the court. So I think Porter's likely to get the minutes. And we know he's a high pump per minute player. He's just one with a low floor because if he makes one mistake, his coach could bench him and just for no rhyme or reason not put him back in. So Goran Dragic will play. Jimmy Butler will play. Alex Len will play. Duncan Robinson will play. So some guys in, some guys out. So yeah, Denver, a team where we want to revisit. They're being paced up. We have a 228.5 total. It's just a matter of knowing about the Gary Harris news and making adjustments from there. But Jokic, definitely a guy I have my eye on. On the Rockets side, Harden and Westbrook just got a lot more reachable with the Jeff Teague news. We've got them projected for 38 minutes. I think we could probably give them a little more of a boost, even relative to what they have, because I do think Denver's defense takes a hit. Now, if Gary Harris is back, that's a knock. Gary Harris is one of the better defenders they have, but if Gary Harris is out, there's like no defensive resistance. I think I'm going to go in and adjust Harden and Westbrook to like 39 each, which I think would allow you to get more of them, especially with the Jeff Teague value that opened up, potentially the Dedmon value. Clint Capella, I think, is a low-owned option at center. Denver has been awful against centers, but Millsap was one of their better defenders against the bigs. He's out. Plumlee was probably maybe one of the next. He's out. Jokic's not a good defender. Just not. They don't have a lot of rim protection right now. So this is actually a pretty good spot for Capella if you ride in the mid-tier. The Rockets value, guys, your guess is as good as mine, man. If you want to take a shot, Eric Gordon's been playing around 30 minutes, but his price is coming up. McLemore got screwed last game. House got the minutes. Before that, it was the other way around. So I'm not playing this musical chair shit. It's Harden, Westbrook, Capella for me today. Next up, we got the Minnesota Timberwolves. Alex Len will be limited to 20 minutes. All right. Minnesota Timberwolves, you have a 220 total. Timberwolves favored by 1 on the road. Shabazz Napier, there's just so much on the slate to like. It's hard to like him right now. With T gone, we know the minutes for him have looked a lot better, but he's still not playing like 33, 34. They are playing that other kid. Marcus Morris, a game-time decision, so again, no help. Andrew Wiggins is okay in tournaments. He's underpriced on both sites. Before I say that, I mean, you decide if he's underpriced on both sides. He's been kind of inconsistent and kind of shitty. And Karl-Anthony Towns did play 34 minutes the last time out, so I think he's capable. I'm actually going to raise Towns a little bit here because I do like the matchup. They've been better. I know Paulie's going to get pissed. The Bulls have been better against centers. They have. But Karl-Anthony Towns is a different type of center, and really it's about the minutes. I think if the game's competitive, which I think it should be, I anticipate Towns to do well. So, with that said, I'm okay with Wiggins, but Towns is the main guy I want here. I'm not terribly interested in the rest. I'm okay with Culver. Like I said, Napier, Wiggins. Even Covington, I don't mind. I just think that there's other guys who are more attractive. But I do like Karl-Anthony Towns here against the Bulls. He is getting, like I said, in the last game, his minutes were back. He can do dirties and drop sevens all day. On the Bulls side, Zach LaVine's kind of interesting. He's playing big minutes. They've been down a little bit, down as in 36, not 38, 39 like he was getting before. This is a revenge matchup for him, so the price is crazy high. That means his ownership is going to be really low, and with all the value opening up, you can reach him if you want him now. He would be the main guy that I have true interest in. Also a revenge spot for Chris Dunn, I believe. I believe he was in Minnesota for a little bit. He's affordable. He's fine. His minutes have been fairly consistent. On FanDuel, he projects to be a really good play. I'm cool with him. But Chris Dunn and Zach LaVine are the main ones for me today. On to the next one. Indiana Pacers visiting the Phoenix Suns. These slates just monstrous. Come on. So the Pacers. Malcolm Brogdon. I think the price is too low. This whole team is in a phenomenal matchup. I love this game. I love this team. I love the Pacers are one of my favorite teams on the slate. We have a 221.5 total. Pacers are -1.5. Every one of these guys has a good matchup. As long as this game stays close, which luckily the game is in Phoenix, so it should. Brogdon seems underpriced for the matchup against Rubio. TJ Warren in a revenge spot doesn't necessarily seem underpriced, but seems kind of juicy. I'm interested for tournament exposure, just to get some, to be different, lower ownership. Miles Turner's too cheap. He's been terrible. Centers have destroyed the Pacers, including him. Last year twice did well. Very cheap, $5K on DraftKings. Again, think about Zion before we get there, right? Sabonis is $7,900 on DraftKings, 9-1 on FanDuel. I understand if you can't reach him. I get that. 7-9 on DraftKings on a site where you get the double-double bonuses and all that good shit. Way too cheap. Love Sabonis. More of a tournament thing. Love Sabonis. He should smash these mofos. What are they going to put? To start the game, you got what? Ayton, hypothetically, on Turner. And what? Saric on Sabonis? Does that sound like a good matchup to you? For Saric? I think not. For Sabonis? Yes, sir. On the Sun side, Ricky Rubio on FanDuel. I don't know what they were thinking. 6,100 on FanDuel. I mean, that's pretty close to a lock over there. On DraftKings at 7-7, it's a very competitive position. I don't know how much I actually get, but on FanDuel, that's downright disrespectful with the way he's played. I respect Brogdon defense, but I've also seen Brogdon defense get a little beat up this year. On the Sun side isn't the side of the ball I like as much. I'm cool with Booker because he's playing monster minutes, and again, with the value, it's easier to reach him. Kelly Oubre is getting big minutes. I'm okay with him, but his price is up to a point where you're kind of, paying where he should be, I think, for the minutes that he's playing and the usage and point per minute value he carries. But on DraftKings, it's mainly Booker and Oubre. On FanDuel, Rubio just looks like a phenomenal play on this team in general. Just like on the, just that price is way too low. But I do like the Pacers side a lot for tournaments. Next up, we got the Spurs and the Zions. The Spurs total is 236, one of the higher ones on the slate. 3.5 total. Starting with the Spurs, DeJounte Murray projects well pretty much every day because we always project him around 26 minutes or so. And he's a high point per minute player. The problem is Pop won't always give him the 26 minutes, let alone play him more than that. But we know the ceiling is there if they ever decide to do it. Great spot for LaMarcus Aldridge. I will say this, with Zion and Favors is probable too, assuming they both start. At times when Zion's on the court and Favors on the court, New Orleans shouldn't be as bad against bigs, at least in terms of rebounding, things like that. But the price is still very low at LMA on DraftKings. Rudy Gay is back. Keep that in mind. I think that affects Derek White's minutes, who's been playing really well. Maybe DeRozan is less likely to see 37, 38. Maybe he's more likely to see 35, 36 with Rudy Gay back. Either way, for tournaments, I think he's fine. DeJounte Murray, LaMarcus Aldridge, though, from a price perspective, looking like the stronger options from the Spurs, who are being paced up pretty dramatically. On the Spurs side, Zion Williamson, we got at 18 minutes. Zion Williamson in the preseason was averaging like 1.37 fantasy points per minute. So we didn't want to judge solely off the preseason, but we want to respect the upside. So we got him at a point where he projects well enough that you should get some, and you can kind of control from there how much you want with setting caps. I thought yesterday that it was a hard 20-minute limit, but from what I understand, it's actually a soft 20-minute limit, meaning he doesn't necessarily mean he even gets the 20. They're going to feel it out, play him in shorter spurts than usual, and that's how they played him in the preseason anyway, in short spurts. But yeah, I mean, he could do a lot, man. He could really do the dirty. In 20 minutes, he could easily give you 6, 7, 8x on these prices. It's not a problem. I guess, but like, what happens if he only gets the 18? And also, from a ceiling perspective, are there other guys at his price point that have higher ceilings just from the virtue of if their game goes to OT, that's extra minutes they're going to get? If this game goes to overtime, Zion is not likely to get any more than maybe 22, 23 in a best case scenario. Now, if you're willing to bet that the rest of the guys around him are so weak, that's a different story. If you think the guys he's priced around are significantly weaker and he allows you to get access to a 6x projection with, the guys around him you want, then I think that makes a little more sense, and I think I understand it. So that's where I'm at with Zion. I'm going to play some, for sure. I'm going to play some. I just don't know exactly how much just yet. After that, I'm curious to see how it affects these other players. Lonzo Ball's price is coming down, but so has his usage because Jrue Holiday came back and, is taking some of that usage away. I'm okay with Holiday. I'm okay with Ingram. Derek Favors on FanDuel is really cheap and a good spot. Again, with Zion back, curious to see if they stagger him, what they do. But to me, Zion is one of the main plays from this game, and after that, it's kind of tight. And this is a really high total game, a game I thought I'd have more interest in. But remember, as guys get healthy, that kind of happens. Their prices are there as if such and such players are out, so then when they return, it affects the value. With that said, last game, Utah Jazz and the Golden State Warriors. And then we'll take a break, get Paulie on here. I'll update the projections, and we will do the dirty as the dirty needs to be done. The Utah Jazz on the road, 219.5 total. Jazz are 8.5-point favorites. Donovan Mitchell, we discussed on FanDuel, just disrespectful. On DraftKings, it's a competitive position, and the pricing is a little more competitive, so I'm not as interested, but it is a good spot. I don't mind Clarkson as a value play with Jeff Teague floating around. I don't see a big need for him. Bogdanovich just a low owned option. Rudy Gobert is the main Jazz player outside of Mitchell, that I would be interested in. Obviously on DraftKings more so. So Mitchell is the main guy on FanDuel. Gobert the main guy on DraftKings. He's played big minutes. This is a smash spot for centers from a rebounding perspective, from an offensive perspective, even in terms of blocks. I think he can rack up some blocks. This is a really good spot for Gobert on a slate where we do have a lot of options to consider. Late night hammer exposure. So I'm fine with it. He's the main one I want. And again, Mitchell on FanDuel is just criminal, right? Golden State. Willie Cauley-Stein's still cheap on FanDuel, but the position's too deep for me to want to play him with his inconsistencies. D'Angelo Russell's price has come up, but he still projects fairly well for us on DraftKings. I'm going to end up with some of him, and I'm good with it. Assuming Draymond Green is back, who got ruled out a little bit later because he was sick, that does affect my interest in Alec Burks, especially, and Glenn Robinson is probable. That also affects my interest in Alec Burks, and especially Eric Paschall. So I'm not as high on the Warriors as I was the other day. Especially once the news came out, we got even more on them. But right now, there's not a ton of the actual Warriors I want. It's really mainly D'Lo for me. I don't mind Draymond, but again, he's in that price range we discussed. It's hard for me to pull the trigger. They've been conservative with him. I'm just not all that into it, but we'll have to see. Jeff Teague will start. That's been confirmed. But that's going to do it for the Game by Game Nation. Give me about like 5 minutes or so. We're going to switch over. We're going to get Paulie D on here. Don't go anywhere, but we're not ending the feed. We're going to keep the feed going. I'm going to switch to a still frame kind of thing, just to kind of placehold while we get Paulie up on the horn. Set up for the next part of the show. We'll go over optimal builds, questions. I'll have Paulie talk to you guys while I update some of these projections for the WiseTake Nation. So don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. And if you have questions, we'll try to answer them later. And again, we'll go over injury news all the way up to lock. That's what we do. Hour 1 is out the way, but hour 2 is coming. So don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. Yeah. And we're back. Just like that. What up, nation? Back for part 2 of the NBA Wise stream. Joined by the GOAT, the true OG. You guys know him, though. It's Paulie D. Paulie D, what's happening, bro?
What's happening, baby? Wild slate ski, huh?
Oh, yeah. Just spent that first hour just really emphasizing how crazy it is to the nation. Anthony Davis expected to play 30 minutes. It's just constant news updates. Oh, Steven Adams is ruled out. We know Nerlens Noel is ruled in. Adams is now ruled out. It's just nonstop updates, bro. Just nonstop. That's what it is.
Update
City for sure. But it's wild, man. I mean, I even hate to ask you. Like at some point, I'm going to ask you, like, tell me, like, we got to narrow this slate down, and like, you hate to do it. It's just, and there's more news coming.
Yes, there is.
It's wild. Give me your general consensus. I know Teague. I know you're pissed about the Trae Young thing because you liked Teague as a low-owned tournament play, assuming Trae Young was in. Now that Trae Young is out, he becomes chalk of the night. Talk to me about like what is this slate for you right now?
I think there's like some clear games you want a piece of. Denver, Atlanta, the Clippers, Atlanta. That game, both teams very shorthanded. They're going to play very fast. No D. I like some Pacers. Those like are the teams, and Boston, right? Like that are like the shorthanded, getting paced up, all that good stuff, right? There's a couple games that like I really don't have much interest in much. A couple really good value plays. Nerlens Noel. What's his name? The point guard from Atlanta we just talked about.
Jeff Teague.
Yeah, Jeff Teague. I think we got what's his name? Dedmon. We've got Zubac. Like, there's just a lot. This slate's just, loaded with action. A lot of soft pricing. Lots of studs. Lots of good games. But, the games I'm, like, most attracted to, Clippers, Atlanta, Memphis, Boston, Denver, Houston, and, like, Indy, Phoenix, and I guess you could include Spurs, New Orleans in there. Like, the bulk of what I want to do comes from there. Yes, Nerlens Noel, one-off from OKC. There's stuff like that, but in terms of like multiple pieces from games, those are the key games in my opinion.
Yeah, man. At this point, it's going to come down to. I mean, pricing is obviously important in terms of what you could fit together, but at this point, it's coming down to with all the injuries that are out there and all the news that we're getting. It's coming down to like. The combination of the upside, the usage increases, the expected minutes, and the price. It's all got to come together and make sense. And once you get to that point, you kick in some variance, the randomness factor, if you will. And it's going to be a wild slate. I would anticipate it being very high scoring, especially with all the chalk value that's starting to open up. I guess at this point, I'm going to ask you the same we always do with the studs, the mid-tier, the value. I know that a lot could change between now and then, so we'll ask you for a refresher later if something crazy changes. But let's start with the studs. With Jeff Teague, with potentially Dedmon, and even more value on the way, first of all, are you going to prioritize studs, or are you just going to use it to get more mid-tier players, if you do use the value at all? Or otherwise, what are the studs you plan on using it for?
I think this is an awesome Harden bounce back spot. He's had a couple bad games in a row. And, if you look, these teams, have played high scoring, very close games for the most part over the last 2 years. Denver is like the worst defensive rated team over the last 3 games. Small sample, but that's when all the injuries occurred. And, I just expect him to do the dirty. And he's kind of cheap now at 11 too. So he'd be my priority. I really like Jokic with how short Denver's going to be. Plumlee's now out. And then it's mostly mid-tier. I think there's merit to grabbing some Karl Anthony Towns. I think, if Drummond plays, he's in a very good spot. I think, the guys like under 9K become more attractive. But I do really like Harden and Jokic.
Yeah, I think that makes. And again, man, like I'm with you. It does look like a good bounce back spot. I am gonna want to know the status of Gary Harris. Obviously, he's one of their better defenders, and since they've been terrible, it makes sense with him. He's probably their best wing defender they have. Um, so I'm with you, man. It's tough. Karl Anthony Towns kind of like almost like an afterthought in the comparison, but his minutes went back up. There's a lot to like. Talk to me about the mid tier guys that stand out to you, and I know there's a lot.
Yes. So now, like with no Trey Young, John Collins was way underpriced. He hasn't had like a huge game lately, but we know what he can do. His usage should increase. And the Clippers struggle against bigs. Really like him at 7-1. I love Michael Porter Jr. with Denver shorthanded. The guy's just got massive ceiling. Domantas Sabonis against the Suns, who struggle against centers. The two dudes from the Clippers, Lou Williams and Montrez. This should just be a monster spot for them too. Kemba Walker, I like quite a bit. Point guards against Memphis. Let's see. TJ Warren, revenge spot against his former team. Buddy Hield from the Kings, with no Bagley, that's like big usage, kind of flow upstream towards Fox and Hield. He finally had a pretty good game, and I think he kind of builds on that. A lot to like in the mid tier, and then the entire Raptors team's underpriced. I'm not really into that game, but all those guys, you got Brad Beal who's underpriced. You've got, CP3. There's a lot in the mid tier.
Yeah, man, I'm with you. Like I have there's plays that I like that it's more like me being stubborn. I just think it's a really good matchup, and I want to play it. Like the Pacers are that team for me, right? There's nobody out. There's nothing like that. We have so many situations where guys are out and everything. Like Lou Williams at 7-3 with increased usage, increased minutes, or Brogdon at 7-1 without really anything. It just seems like he's underpriced in general. But the matchup is so good that I find myself really wanting the Pacers, like trying to force in some of these Pacers. But in terms of everything else, man, even without it, the Clippers become a fairly optimal team between Montrezl Harrell, Lou Williams, Boston. I mean, with Jaylen Brown out, the main three, Hayward, Kemba, Tatum, all underpriced in a phenomenal spot against Memphis, who's playing really fast and not playing good defense and all the good shit. So I'm with you, man. The mid tier is just super strong, and like that's really what it comes down to. Like, if I do get this value, am I more likely to use it to get one more mid tier guy, or use it to actually go stars and scrubs? And I haven't really decided. I mean, there's everything is strong mid tier, but the studs look really juicy too. So it's an interesting situation. Last but not least, Paulie, talk to me about some of your top value plays. Honestly,
Yeah, so, Jeff Teague's just a phenomenal play. He was a good play before, Trey Young is out. Phenomenal play now with Trey Young out. As long as Gary Harris is out, I think Monty Morris is a very consistent, safe value play. I really like Michael Beasley today. If he's out, he's got great history against Houston, and like his minutes have kind of been like sporadic with these injuries. But now you add one more body in Plumlee, pace up game against Houston. I see him getting big minutes and doing really well again. Kevin Herter, I don't know if we consider him value, but he's just a phenomenal cheap play. Dwayne Dedmon's out there. Mitch Robinson, I think, is a very good value play. Zion Williamson, especially on FanDuel, I really like. Landry Shamet is a nice value play on this slate. Nerlens Noel is one of the best value plays on the slate. Usually when Trey Young misses, Cam Reddish becomes a really good value play. We've got that's probably like the main ones. I'm trying to think if I'm. Ivica Zubac I like quite a bit. I think those are the main. Like my favorites are Beasley, Teague, and Noel.
yeah, there's a lot, man. there's just a lot. In general, top to bottom, no matter what tier, it's gonna be wild slate, man. Wild Wild West. Let's do it all day. 30s and sevens. I guess let's try in some way. Let's try to build an optimal team, right? try to get that out the way, and then we'll field some questions. Obviously, we still got to build our teams, and I still have some of these projections that we have to update. But let's see what we can do. Pull something up here. So we'll start with DraftKings. Did you see FanDuel's pricing at all? Did you look at that?
A little bit, yeah. It's soft as shit.
Ridiculous. Crazy. All right, so is Jeff Teague first one in, right?
Yeah, put Jeff Teague in there. Put Nerlens Noel in there.
Hold on. Nerlens.
I think I'd put Lou Williams and Montrezl in there.
Yeah, I'm good with that. So annoying that DraftKings did that shit. Because now between Noel and Harrell, that's it. There's no more centers. Like that's it. Not that I think you had to have another center, but it's just annoying that they did that.
Agree.
I guess Hayward, right? 5,800. I think he projects pretty well across the board. I would imagine he's going to be popular. So we got Jeff Teague, Lou Williams, Nerlens Noel, Montrezl Harrell, Hayward. We have 72-33 remaining, which is pretty high for a power forward, guard, and a forward.
Yeah. I mean, I think like John Collins or Kevin Huerter.
Probably, honestly, probably both at this point. I mean, in cash, cash, you can more or less stack up the game. The Clippers game at this point. Both teams are now extremely like they're missing the biggest usage players. It's like it's wild.
Yeah.
What do we got here? So we got 9,300 for a forward. And this is with Nerlens Noel in there. Like, if you wanted to upgrade to something more secure and go more mid-tier, we could. If not, we have enough for like a Ben Simmons at 93. Not that I think he's necessarily optimal, but point being, you got some room to work with. Ooh, Michael Porter Jr. questionable. Whoa, what? Slate is going wild right now, son. Slate is going wild right now. Shit is just crazy. You know what I'm gonna do now? So that's where we are. I mean, we talked about the optimals, but in reality, what I want to do is pull up this injury list, and I want to ask you. We'll go through these guys, and I want to ask what you think the impact is on your as far as you go. Your opinions, your approach to the slate. Do these things have an impact? That's what we're gonna do. Let me pull this ish up, and I'll let you know. We did get some of the news since this thing was announced, so I'll skip it if we got the dirty. All right, here we go. So Trae Young, we know, is out. Drummond is questionable. How significant is Drummond to you relative to the other injury news that we have? Is he the most significant left?
I mean, to me, Gary Harris is, but yeah, that's equally as big out there. Like, if he's in, I think he's in a right play. I don't like that game that much. If he's out, then like we got to get serious about Wood.
Yes, and everybody loves Wood.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, Wood would be a phenomenal value play at that point. Steven Adams, we know, is out. Noel is in. Davis is probable. They're all expected to play. Davis is going to be limited to 30 minutes. Butler and Dragic are in. Duncan Robinson is in. Zion probable. Favors, yada, yada. Josh Hart, JJ Redick, both questionable. Does that do anything for you?
Not much. I mean, it would bump up a guy like H1 Moore a little bit, but like that situation's already getting dirty with Zion and Favors playing some, and I don't think it's like requires like a ton of focus if those guys are out because they're already like the fringe starters.
Agreed. Gary Harris, we know, is a big one for you. We talked on it. Just touch on it. Did you like? I guess we'll combine him with the Michael Porter Jr. news now. Talk to me about some if-then scenarios.
Yeah, I mean, if one of those two guys is out, I'm like loading up on Beasley. I prefer it to be Harris, but both of them are out. You got to load up on Jokic, Barton, Morris, and Beasley, right? And even like. What's that guy's name? His brother was on the Knicks.
Juancho Hernangomez.
Yeah, Juancho might become viable. I'm sure he's min price. But the core four guys, and even like Jeremy Grant, I think is where you're going to go first.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Okay, so they'll keep Anthony Davis around 30 minutes, but it's not gonna be a hard limit. Back to the injuries. Marcus Morris, talk to me about the significance of that, if any.
Marcus Morris. I mean, I think that makes because already Barrett's out. I think that would just make Elf and Randall like viable enough plays. Like with Morris there, they're all like, we probably gonna get beat up. Who knows though? They did play the Lakers tight last year, and they have a better team this year. But if Morris is out, that would just firm up Elf and Randall. I'd probably increase their exposures a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the DSJ, do you think that affects Elf? Because Elf is already at best getting around 31, 32 minutes. So do you think this takes away that extra minute or two? Because Elf is on that cusp where I do want every minute I can get from him, especially because he's more of a peripheral guy.
I don't think it's going to affect him that much, to be honest. I think it'll affect, I don't think DSJ plays, to be honest. But if he does, I think it'll take away from Nitty more than Elf. I think Elf will still get whatever he normally gets.
Fair enough. Real quick, how many minutes do you think Nerlens Noel plays? He played 21, then 19, then he got scratched for the ankle injury that's been bothering him, but he's available now. It's like,
I mean, I think he plays 26, something like that.
26?
They got no other bigs. I mean, Muscala's there, I guess.
That's my point, is we've seen Adams miss some of this time. I'm just a little concerned as to why he didn't. He started against Miami that day with Adams out. He only played 21 minutes. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's doing well in those 21 minutes. He went for 26 DraftKings points that day, and then against Portland in 19 minutes, he went for 32. So he's performing. But I would like him to get 24 at least. Like, I would feel even better about it. I'm gonna play him regardless, but I'd feel a whole lot better if I knew he was getting around 24. So you think they got to play him a little more at some point, right? I'm just worried because it was an injury and then he hurt his ankle again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, they just don't have really much choice, and I think if they're playing them, they're playing them. I don't think it's like a limitation thing unless they say so.
So basically, you're telling me if they're going to do it, then
I think it's one of the best plays.
They're going to do it big.
Exactly.
That's basically what you're telling me. I can live with that. Let's see. Let's check out the chat and see. Check out the chat. Is Drummond out? Did we just get news on Drummond?
I didn't see it.
Yep, Andre Drummond ruled out. There you go, baby. This is just that also. Yeah, absolutely out of control. Yep. NBA scheduling, gotta love it. No Andre Drummond tonight, so I guess we can now. Talk to me about this impact of that while I try to update. Catch up with all this bullshit.
Yeah. Christian Wood, going to get huge minutes against Dwayne Dedman and the team with no bigs. He should absolutely smash. You're going to want a lot of that. Sekou Doumbouya, already been playing big minutes. He's one of those Giannis type, projects. Very athletic, very long. Those are the two. Do you know if Markieff Morris is playing?
I believe so. I mean,
he's like 4-1. He should get a bunch of minutes as long as he's in.
Agreed. Man, just wild city, bro. Just the Wild West out this bitch, man. Who's on who's now what? Who's on who's now what? Christian, how much Christian Wood are you likely to play? Like, Thon Maker's there. We've been burned by Christian Wood a bunch of times, but they're really fucking thin now. Like, they're really fucking thin, right? They got no choice, right? It is the Kings, a good matchup also.
Yeah, it's like the perfect matchup. 35%?
Yeah, no, I'm with it.
Christian Wood or Nerlens Noel?
Fuck. Oh, man. I trust Noel's production more. I really do. But I'm starting to... It's just the minutes thing. I think Christian Wood has the opportunity to play more. Because I don't think Noel's getting 30. Like, I don't think you go from 21, 19 to 30. I don't know. Maybe you do. But remember, he was a late scratch the other day because of that same ankle. So, fuck. Is Wood cheaper?
They're both 4K.
No, Noel is 4.4. So is Wood 4K?
Oh, okay. Wood's 4K.
Okay,
Yeah.
he's a little cheaper. Okay, on FanDuel he is what he is. So, in reality, like we talked about some of the studs that we liked, but in reality, I mean, this is gonna make it a lot easier for you. Like the Harden, right? Like, this is gonna get you more Harden, I would assume.
Harden and Jokic, especially if Porter's out. Like, I like Jokic better than Harden if Porter's out.
I'm different. Yeah, I'm different. I like it. So I mean, like Deadman's an option, but like he doesn't seem to need him as much anymore, huh? 707s though. 707s though. Long style. Let me see if there's any questions while we go through this. Harden or LeBron? I think it's Harden for you, right? I like Harden better anyway.
Yes.
Vooch or Sabonis in cash?
Sabonis.
Yeah, I would say Sabonis also. Oh, MG, that was cold. I'm not even going to read what MG just said. That was cold. Gee, you motherfucker. I almost read that shit too, you asshole. Gotta love MG, man. Alright, motherfuckers gotta stop texting me so it stops popping up in my notifications here. She's getting old. Talk to me. Not me. I don't see any other questions. I mean, we'll just kind of wait out for the news. I mean, it's tough. At this point, I don't even want to go back to that optimal build shit because it's just like, what? Like, what? Andre Drummond out. One less stud you got to worry about. Oh, I would imagine they're going to tell us who's starting.
What do you even have today? You know?
Yeah, man. Like, that's what I'm saying. They're so thin. Like, I mean, Thon Maker's there. So they have guys. I guess they have bodies in theory.
Mm-hmm.
But damn, man. It's like, seriously, who's there for real?
Yeah, it's wild. Shit is wild.
Oh, yeah. I'm afraid to even upload these projections, man. Like, to see. Because now, honestly, it's like a free-for-all. I'm trying to update the core plays article right now. Doing dirds on them. Up sevens on them. Jeff Teague. Yeah, boy. I do like Teague and Huerter a lot now. Kevin Huerter. That's Christian Wood. Man, this shit just went wild. Gordon Hayward. Shit. Man, this whole slate is like everything that I was on before. Everything, it's like all flip flop. Like I gotta. Again, like we were before, it was set up for a balance, and we talked about it before. We were expecting it to get a little wild, you know.
Yes, sir.
Definitely expecting it to get a little wild and profiled. All right, nation. I did update the core. I didn't update the top threes, but I updated the core. Doing 30s and 7s. Added the Hawks to one of the teams that we want to get a lot of exposure to in general. 7s. And now, of course, the Christian Wood information. Oh, man. It's going to be crazy. I can't wait till I'm finally ready to upload these things. Nation, if you are subscribed to WiseTake.com and you're waiting for the projections, I'm going in now to take a look at Detroit. Oh, XFL is confirmed for DraftKings. So we'll have a little football to play if anybody is truly a football degenerate. Millionaire. Hey, yo, Drum Dog. Hey. It'd be nice if we got a starting lineup there. That would help.
Oh, yeah.
That would be significant. If you guys have questions, now is the time to ask. If you're watching or asking on the Periscope, I don't have that one pulled up, so I won't see the question. But if you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, or on the Wise stream, we will answer any questions. if I see them, we can't always look at them. So if you're gonna ask them, you better ask them now. Then that's what Jimmy Winston would say. Yeah, my core definitely changed pretty dramatically with the snooze, bro. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that. Cushion that. Give me that. So, yeah, I mean, when I think about the centers, like, as far as physical bodies, they have to play Christian Wood a lot, right? Like, even if Thon plays, like, still need somebody to play, you know what I mean? Like, do it all you want, you know? Your dirty back, you knows.
He's gonna play, It's just, does he like foul out? Does he play like a bitch?
Yeah.
Who knows?
That's the biggest question. Does he play like a bitch? That's like, because nobody, you don't want to play nobody who plays like a bitch. Just out of principle. You know what I mean?
He usually does the dirt.
No, he does. He's a hyper-minute dialer, but is you is or is you ain't. I mean, against Atlanta, in 16 minutes, he went for 27. And 26 minutes against New Orleans went for 41. And 26 minutes against Chicago went for 47. We're talking about Dwayne Dedman, Harry Giles. So I don't think the matchup is that far off from those two that we just talked about. Holla for $1. And we're still waiting on the Denver news, which is pretty important and could open up even more. So
yeah,
it's a wild world we live in, bro. Wild world we live in. Oh dear. So no Drummond. I mean, I don't even know what to do with Rose. But bro, Reggie Jackson is back.
Yeah, min price too.
Yeah.
That fuck.
Don, the real Don Maker. Do I project you for like fucking 15 minutes or something? He hasn't played at all.
He's terrible.
Oh, he's got all. I'm not playing him. I just got to put the minutes somewhere. You know what I mean? I'm not. I want nothing to do with him. Between you got Noel, you got Wood, you got Jeff Teague. His value is not a thing. Value is not a thing. You can do anything you want to do. Suck in on it. What? Yeah, and hard. Oh yeah, man. I projected Christian Wood for like 26 minutes and he just like instantly became the top play. Our Madel in the WiseTake Nation projections. Maybe that was a little too aggressive though. I'll put 25 and he'll still we don't have to project a guy like that for 30, man. Like put him at 25, he's still gonna pop. Still gonna poppington. Poppington. Yep. Check it out. Alright, I uploaded the Drummond situation. Let me take a look and see how all this shit is out. I didn't know what to do with Rose, man, because I just don't think he's gonna play more. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I got him at 32, 33. It's like, how much higher can you really raise the guy? But at the same time, Jackson's on the limit. Bruce Brown is out. No Drummond. I mean, if they really
play your boy Svi.
Who? Svi? Yeah.
Svi.
The prices come up a little bit, but yeah, I did raise his minutes up a little bit. I mean, with Bruce Brown out off top, now Drummond's out. Like shit, you know what I mean? Svi, where you at, Svi? I'll bump his ass, man. You know the usage is gonna be up. Let's go. Let's go.
John Collins or Montrezl Harrell?
Oh fuck. Oh. I think I kind of like Collins more. I don't think that's the optimal answer, but I think I do. Yeah, I'll go with that. 22.4, 22.4. Speed, let it be 22.4. We're a little over 20 minutes away from Lot Nation. Scouring, if you got the questions, drop them in.
What'd you say, Doug?
Just laughing at some some of the stuff in chat. Gallinari or Hayward?
Hayward.
Yeah, I like Hayward a lot against Memphis. I'm cool with Gallo too, but the Boston game just looks a whole lot better. The total's way higher, and like one thing about the OKC game, that it's got the lowest total on the board. The usage is going to be a lot more concentrated, so I'm not worried about it. Like if they project well, they project well. It is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. But it may not be what it will be. May not be what it won't be either. Feel me?
That's true. Say it like that.
When you put it like that, I mean, yeah, exactly. I was looking at some of the guys talking about, oh man, some of the dudes are talking about the whole Delonte West thing, man, which is sad in all seriousness, man. Like,
that's crazy.
That's crazy. Obviously, dude's got some serious mental health issues he's got to work through and all that. It's unfortunate, but
that's where Antonio Brown's on his way to. For 2 years,
man,
that's
scary,
where
man. But yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, it's scary, but I mean, shit is scary as hell. But I feel you. But I feel you indeed. Feel you indeed.
Who, Williams or Kemba?
Oh man, you're asking me all the toughest questions in the world right now. Oh fuck. I'm gonna say Lou. No, I'm gonna say Kemba. Fuck. It's such a tough one. Play them both. I mean, how about that? Huh? Man. Shit, man. I think Don Maker's gonna have to play at least a little bit. But if I put him for really significant minutes, it's gonna I'm gonna switch this up a little bit and go bang. Holla back. So we do that. Oh yeah, we got 20 minutes to lock, nation. 20 minutes to lock. Let's go. Oh, tonight, just to remind you guys, or maybe some of y'all didn't know, but we are going to have the first esports wise stream that we've ever had. KMG Trip 3s and our boy Gov will be doing some, I think it's 8 p.m. Eastern starter, 8:30, something like that. They'll be on the air on the channel talking about esports. There's a slate this weekend for the League of Legends North American, or a League of Legends Championship Series North America. So if you're into the video game stuff, the esports world, which is like exploding. Listen, I'm not a big video game guy, but I can respect an industry that's exploding. And that is an industry that is exploding. If you're interested in that, you want to get down on that, if you play, curious how the DFS aspect lens, these guys have been playing for a little bit. They understand how the rules work. Go check it out. Do the dirty. Show will be on Twitch, YouTube, all the typical platforms. So no excuse for you to miss out. Don't get dirtied on, as they say. All right, I'm finally ready. I'm gonna run a raw crunch first and see. Oh, son of a bitch! I forgot to click the thing. Oh no, it worked. I'm gonna do a raw crunch first and see, as far as our projections, who are some of the guys that it's given us the most of. As far as studs, it's definitely Harden. It's given us a good amount of Harden. How much Teague are you gonna play? Do you just lock button that shit? No Pat Bev. I mean, a 4K. Do you like realistically?
I mean, I have a 75 cap on him.
I'm so tempted to just lock button his ass. The only scenario, I mean, obviously something crazy like an injury, but it's if like we always talk about, the mid tier just so damn strong that those guys just outscore
right,
him.
Like Lou Williams goes for 55, and like Malcolm Brogdon goes for 48.
Exactly.
Yeah. Kemba goes for 50. Like multiple guys in that tier above go for 50s and 60s. That's the only.
Exactly. Oh boy. The Wild West up in here, man. Yeah, buddy. It should be. All right, it's time to start setting some exposures and doing dirties, right? Like, no time. And this is a slate on FanDuel. You may not know all the news, but at least you're at the end of the day, your job will be done at a certain point. You know. On DraftKings, this is gonna feel like an all-nighter kind of thing. Like you're constantly gonna be coming back to like switch things up and all that crazy shit. All that crazy shit. It's a new album. All crazy shit. 63.2. 0.2. Yeah, how slow this shit goes this time, man. It's fucking stressful as hell. You know, notice all that like right around lock, because I guess because everybody's using it at the same time, like everything just slows down. It's frustrating. It's frustrating in my face, bro.
I feel you. How much Zion did you end up rolling with?
Man, I don't even know. I ended up lowering his projection a little, but I do want some. I'll probably be around 20% or so. It's just now there's so many plays that seem better than him. Now I'm not even thinking about him. You know what I mean?
I agree. Plays.
Plays. Oh, the plays. Plays of the day. Plays, plays, plays. Give me your plays.
Or PayPal me.
Or PayPal me. Your plays today. Yeah. Looks like I'm going to get a lot of Hardy on. I'm going to add Harden to the Kizor because I'm going to end up with a lot of him. Nerlens Noel. Oh, we're looking solid today. Core Plays article updated. Just ran some crunches and I'm going to have pretty much these plays of the day. You can find me where?
I'm in the club, bottle full of bub, mama. Got what you need.
Oh, I thought you were gonna hit me with the A, bro. Thought you was hitting me with it. You didn't hit me with it though.
I'm on it. Time and time again, I do the dirty to my neighbor, and I be doing dirt all the time with my friends. Doing hood shit with my friends is what I want to do. It's fun being bad and doing hood rat stuff with my friends again.
I love it, bro.
Oh boy, it'll be a miracle to like smash this slate. You know, it's just gonna be like
It's just so much you gotta get right, and so many D's. You gotta get on your knees, holla please. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's just a crazy world we live in.
All right, so I think our top 5 exposure is gonna be fairly close today.
But I like at what numbers though? Like I know Teague said 75. What about Wood and Noel?
You know, I think I kind of came like significantly lower on the rest of my guys because I do like a lot on the slate, and like although those are like the optimals, you know, they're also going to be the highest owned, and there's like certainly pivots.
Oh, there's pivots for sure. You know, for sure.
But as of right now, my top 5 at 5 is, I guess my top 5 at 6:45 is Teague, Harold, Herter, Warren, Jokic.
I'm with it. I gotta raise me some Huerter. Shit. Oh shit. What am I doing? Long and hard mafia. You know. We get some more news coming in. No, Marcus Morris available to play, so there's that.
Marcus.
Yeah, Marcus.
Go to Marcus. Go.
Oh damn it, Bobby.
Yeah, I can't believe Marvin Bag got ruled out. He was like my favorite play going into bedtime last night.
Yeah, in that bedtime zone, bro. In that bedtime mentality, son. So how much Montrez versus how much Zubac are you trying to Dizzy?
So I've got 38% Montrez and 26% Zoop.
Yeah, I'm in a similar split. Not too far off from that. What about Lou Will? How much you playing Lou? Sweet Lou. Stick it on
34.
Yeah, I'm at 35. Ha ha ha. Yes.
You know, like I think Barton and Chris Paul, like there's a ton of guys in that range that, you know, Brad Beal, like that are all like candidates to dirt.
Yeah, it's true. All kinds of candidates for dirtiness. Shit. Yo, how much DJ Ward you playing? You still like him?
Yeah,
Me
I
too.
got 35.
I like him too. I'm gonna have to force him up a little bit though, cause it ain't giving me no TJ Warren. Now with all these other plays. We got 12 minutes to lock, man. I gotta put a pep in my step. No doubt. The fuck?
I can. I'm already done uploading, so I can take over some questions and shit.
Yeah,
Once I
man.
get
Do
there.
the dirt and dirt if you could, man. You know.
Yeah.
Dirt and dirty. Got that whole call. Got that whole call.
I'm going to the WiseTake chat first. See if anybody's up in there. What's Are we on YouTube?
Yeah, we're on YouTube.
Oh, I know how to get there.
You got
Through
search
the
for that
Wise
shit though.
stream.
Yeah, oh yeah, why stream it? Yeah, there you go.
All right. So,
Stream.
if you got questions for the Wise stream chat, we're gonna do them. You don't got them, then reevaluate your lives.
Reevaluate all your lives.
Harden or LeBron 24 minutes ago? The answer is still Harden. Moving on to YouTube chat. We getting robbed. They come.
It's going down. It's going down. Oh.
DeAndre Hunter and Cash, I would say no, but the minutes are very secure. If he's the last guy in, that's fine. Any interest in Drew? Very little. I think that's a bunch of congestion now on that team with Zion showing back up. Do DeRozan and LMA correlate? Yeah, a little bit. Decently. And looks like that's that for questions. What else? Let's see what the ownership projections have changed to. I mean, it's got to be T and Wood. Noel at the top, I would think. NBA ownership ranking. 10 minutes to lock, nation. 10 minutes to lock. See, I think only the Sacramento-Detroit game starts at 7, though, but I'm not 100%. 76ers, Raptors, Detroit, and Sacramento. This week at 7:30, Atlanta Hawks at 7:30, Boston Grizzlies at 7:30, Knicks Lakers. A lot starting by 7:30, so really dinner real quick. So these guys haven't updated. They got Michael Porter Jr. projected high. Thank you.
You saw that? A connection guy looks sloppy at the end there.
Yeah, slop.
A little slop. That's
not
all.
bad.
So, hey, it's goody. You know, just a little slop action.
So let me get a refresh on this, but I'm seeing Jeff Teague, Lou Williams, Gordon Hayward, John Collins, Christian Wood, Montrez, Herter, Tatum, Dedman, Walker, Smart, Thon Maker. Get the fuck out of here with Thon Maker. Jeff Teague at like 48%, Lou Williams 46%. You know, the chalk guy that I think I'm the most concerned about is Hayward. You know, he loves to do me dirty when I play him at high exposure.
Yeah, he does do me dirty. How much Harden do you have, bro?
32%.
Yeah. I'm at 35 right now. Long and hard and hardly long. What, 8 minutes to lock now? And that
Yep,
8
8.
tip. How much Beal you playing, bro? You like Beal at all?
I do have some. I love them. 9%.
No. Beal deal, Holyfield.
I know you pawned it.
Plotting all day. That's how we do it. Somebody's got to do it.
Kings will start Fox, Hield, Barnes, Bielitsa, Deadman.
With 7s all around it.
Markieff Morris will start. Michael Porter Jr. closer to doubtful win.
Markieff Morris will start, huh?
Yeah. I don't even think I have my player
He's
pool.
been super aggressive
Probably.
lately. Markieff.
Yeah. He's good.
Yeah.
And with
fantasy.
no Drummond. He's had some of those good games with Drummond there. With no Drummond.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go get me some of him.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Hard. That's right. You knew it. You knew it was coming down to. Yeah, buddy. 6 minutes to lock, nation. Come on, hurry up with this stupid thing and load. Don't be a douche. I think I'm ready for Crunch Town. I think I'm ready.
Top 3 favorite game stacks. Give it a minute.
The Hawks game, we'll say. We'll say the Hawks. Hold on, I actually have that written down. The Hawks, the Celtics, the Pacers. Oh, these are 3. Yeah, those are the 3. Pacers, Suns, Hawks, Clippers, Memphis, Celtics. What about you? Sign.
Denver Rockets is my favorite. Actually, no. Atlanta Clippers is my favorite. Denver Rockets second, and then Boston Memphis third.
Third and hard. Third and hard though. Feel you. Feel you on the TV screens and shit. Alright, this should be my final crunch, and then I'm gonna set it and forget it because I'm tired of this shit, man. Tired of this shit. Know what I mean?
No.
How am I not? I'm ended up with no Zubac, but I guess it's because I didn't need him anymore because I got all the Noel and McGillicuddy. I guess.
Yeah. Positional.
It's positional harassment. Is what it is, bro. 4 minutes to lock. Here we go. God damn. Three minutes to lock. Nay, she, on. Yeah, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Oh, Porter Jr. closer to doubtful.
Yeah, I said that. You want to listen?
No, you know me, bro. Come on. You even ask me for real? You know me, bro. Come on now. Shit.
You ever seen that dude who does the skits?
I don't think so.
You ever seen that? Oh, I'm gonna show it to you. And he's like blowing up. You know, he became social media famous, and now he's going around with a camera, pretending he's reporting for Pish TV. And he was at like the MMA fights, trying to interview guys, and like no one's taking him serious. It was just real. It was really funny. His kid's becoming like an internet sensation.
Oh
Just
yeah.
that stupid. Whatever.
Oh yeah. Then definitely send me that shit. I'm always down for a laugh, son. You know me.
2 minutes, suckers.
2 minute sucker freaking mode. Sucker freaking mode. Yo, I got like sweaty palms right now, man. I hate this shit. The pressure. Some sweaty palms, man. Some more pressure, man.
They could do you dirty, just like could do you dirty, or you could do dirty to it. You know, that's just how it goes, son.
All day. Dirtiness and dirtiness. Dirty dirts.
1 minute's a lot.
I got it up, so at least that now I just gotta make some twizzies. Oh shit. There's definitely a significant amount of plays that like I wanted to that I don't have because shit just went, cray on me. Yeah.
Like I was just wondering how much like Demantis Sabonis I got.
I actually have 30% in. It's stubborn, but I didn't give a fuck. I loaded up on this guy. I got like 20% Brogdon. I got like 30% Sabonis, 30% Warren. I said fuck it, even though it's probably irresponsible of me to do that. It is what it is. But we will see. We will see indeed.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed, if he's needy. And yeah, I mean, as we wind this out, guys, it's a wild slate. Live to play tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow. I haven't even looked. I'm afraid to say anything about tomorrow because every time I say something about tomorrow, it ends up not.
It's like a 3-game slate. I think,
oh, is it?
Tomorrow.
Okay. So
it's tiny.
3-game slate.
3 games.
It's something to work with, I guess. So it sucks, man, because then that makes people feel like they have to get it in now, and it's not a good slate. It's like a wild. Some people like the big slates, and if you do, more power to you. But I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how many players I don't have that I'm worried about. You know what I'm saying? Not having. It is what it is. It's just things work.
True that.
Skr. It is locked. We're getting out of here. We will be doing the live stream tomorrow. Slate starts at 7 p.m. Eastern, so same time. May start a little bit later because the game by game ain't going to take long. But either way, Nation be doing dirties. Dirties be doing what? Oh, Thon Maker. So Christian Wood's not even starting. Of course.
No, he's not, but still play him just the same.
Yeah. I was just hoping that game already locked.
Yeah.
Is what it is, ain't what it won't be. For Paulie D, for myself, the entire WiseTake Nation, as always, good luck.
Yeah.